After only 6 months of being open, Universal Studios' Epic Universe is adding on. Meanwhile, Six Flags is shutting down multiple parks. Disney's business is looking stale. The Warner Bros. Discovery bidding war is heating up. Ariana Grande's alleged attacker is getting off easy. The collectible bubble has burst and Funko is paying the price. And using AI for writing is not the devil. This is the Marks on Media News Roundup. Let's get into it.
Marks on Media.
Universal Studios' Epic Universe hasn't even been open for a full year, and it's already undergoing construction. When Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort opened in May 2025, it was celebrated as a bold, next-generation theme park. Yet just 6 months later, signs already point to its first major expansion already being in the works. A newly filed permit details 150,000 square feet of site utilities and foundation work at the address 1001 Epic Boulevard, Orlando, a footprint comparable to the park's headlining attraction, Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. What makes this expansion especially intriguing is its location. It sits right behind the land themed to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, specifically the Ministry of Magic area. Fans and site observers note that early groundwork and construction markers behind the Wizarding facades, suggesting that Universal may be preparing to add a second major attraction within this land. Although no ride or franchise is officially named, the combination of the plot, size, and history of the space makes it hard to overlook. While nothing is yet confirmed, the signal is clear. Universal doesn't plan to sit idle. If this permit truly indicates a new attraction tied to the Wizarding World, it indicates a rapid growth pace for Epic Universe and offers hope to theme park fans that there's more immersive experience to come, possibly sooner than expected. Are you excited about this news, and what do you think this could be? Let me know down in the comment section. Six Flags is selling off more theme parks. Following its merger with Cedar Fair, Six Flags Entertainment Corporation confirmed a strategic shift to reduce its portfolio of amusement parks by closing or selling off non-core assets. This priority, announced by Chief Financial Officer Brian Witherow during a Q3 earnings call, aims to make the company smaller and more nimble while focusing capital investments on its highest-profile properties. The company's portfolio is now being classified into core parks, those with the greatest returns and growth opportunities, and non-core parks, which underperform and will be monetized, with the proceeds used to reduce the company's significant debt. This divestment strategy comes as Six Flags deals with financial challenges, including a revised, sharply lower full-year EBITDA forecast after Q3 attendance and revenue disappointed. Approximately 70% of the company's property-level EBITDA comes from the outperforming core parks, while the remaining 30% is generated by the struggling properties being targeted for closure or sale. The company recently permanently closed Six Flags America near Washington, D.C., and plans to close California's Great America between 2028 and 2032, indicating that the confirmed plan is already underway to streamline operations and stabilize the company's financial health. Where do you think this is heading for these parks? Let me know down in the comment section. Disney is still in the dumps. Disney's financial results for Q4 and the full fiscal year 2025 painted a mixed picture, primarily characterized by a dramatic decline in the core content business, contrasted with strength in streaming and parks. The entertainment division's operating income collapsed by a devastating 35% in the fourth quarter, dropping from over $1 billion to $691 million, signaling a significant struggle in the linear television and studio segments overseen by executive Dana Walden. Contributing to the downturn, linear TV revenue plunged 16%. However, the company highlighted bright spots in its streaming portfolio, with Disney Plus and Hulu adding 3.8 million subscribers and the streaming profit jumping by 39%, while the ESPN segment remained relatively steady. Despite the positive streaming and ESPN performance, the biggest concern for the company's long-term health lies in the declining foot traffic at its domestic theme parks. For the full fiscal year 2025, domestic parks experienced a 1% decline in attendance, continuing a trend of effectively flat foot traffic over a 2-year period. CEO Bob Iger and CFO Hugh Johnston, who addressed investors on the Q4 earnings call, are compensating for this weakened demand by aggressively increasing per-guest spending, which jumped 5% year over year. The combination of higher prices and lower attendance reveals a clear strategic shift. Disney parks are now prioritizing high-yield customers over volume to maintain profitability. This focus allowed the Experiences division to post a 13% jump in Q4 operating income, reaching a record $1.9 billion and an 8% increase for the full year. Ultimately, while the parks division generated record income by squeezing more money out of fewer people and streaming shows profit gains, the core content creation engine, the entertainment division, is cracking, forcing the company to lean heavily on price increases and successful streaming monetization. What do you think all this points to for Disney? Let me know your thoughts and feelings down in the comment section. Major media giants are battling it out over Warner Bros. Discovery, WBD. The impending deadline for the first-round bids in the sale of WBD have ignited a high-stakes competition among three major media giants, Paramount, Comcast, and Netflix. WBD, which is currently planning to restructure and split itself into separate streaming/studio and legacy cable companies, has set November 20th as the cutoff for initial non-bidding offers, with the entire auction expected to conclude by the end of the year. This sale is poised to be one of the most significant shifts in Hollywood since Disney acquired Fox, potentially reshaping the entire entertainment industry landscape. Paramount appears to be the most aggressive bidder, with a reported aim to acquire all of Warner Bros. Discovery. Backed by David Ellison's Skydance and Redbird Capital, Paramount submitted multiple unsolicited offers that prompted the formal auction, with its most recent proposal valued at $23.50 per share. If successful, Paramount plans to allow both its studio and Warner Bros. To operate independently, significantly increasing their combined theatrical output and better compete with big tech rivals in the streaming wars. Adding a curveball to the auction is Netflix, which is primarily interested in WBD's movie and TV studios and the HBO Max streaming service, but is notably avoiding cable channels like CNN and TNT. Comcast is also preparing a bid, similarly targeting the studios and HBO Max, but analysts question if it can financially match its competitors. The bidding war process is complicated by WBD's internal breakup plan and a political dimension, as regulatory bodies could scrutinize a massive consolidation, especially given the public political leanings of executives involved in the bidding war. Who do you think will win the bidding war? And do you think this is a good thing? Let me know down in the comment section. Ariana Grande's alleged assaulter basically gets a legal slap on the wrist. An incident occurred at the Wicked for Good Singapore premiere when a man, identified as Johnson Wen, who uses the online nickname Pajama Man, rushed onto the yellow carpet and attempted to embrace Ariana Grande. Video footage confirmed that Grande's co-star, Cynthia Erivo, quickly intervened by shoving Wen before security personnel were able to intercept and subdue him. Wen, who gleefully documented the disruption on his own social media, captioned his post to suggest Grande let him approach, though the video clearly showed her attempting to evade the contact. The individual is a well-known repeat offender who has built a public persona around disrupting high-profile events, listing prior stunts such as the 2023 World Cup final pitch invader, and documenting similar breaches involving Katy Perry, The Weeknd, and the Chainsmokers. This long-documented history of breaching security barriers and restricted areas at concerts, sporting fields, and international public events fueled a public conversation about the safety and need for stricter consequences for chronic stage crashers. Despite the man's pattern of behavior and the high-profile nature of the security breach, which involved physical contact with an international performer, the legal consequences were minimal. One was charged only with public nuisance, a minor offense in Singapore that resulted in a relatively small fine of roughly $2,000. Critics argue that the minor penalty serves as little to no deterrent for a clout chaser seeking viral fame, sending a damaging message that highly disruptive and potentially unsafe behavior carries an easily affordable cost of content creation. This doesn't sit right with me. What if he had a weapon? We've seen things like this go terribly wrong, especially with what just happened to Emeru and others. How can we just let this go on? I realize this isn't America, it's Singapore, but this is insane. But what do you think about all of this? Let me know your thoughts and feelings down in the comment section. Funko announces concerns for their company's future. Funko warned investors that its financial position is becoming increasingly precarious after a sharp decline in sales and mounting debt. In its latest disclosure, the collectible maker reported heavy losses, nearly $41 million in quarter 2 of 2025, and about $61 million over the first 9 months of the year. With roughly $250 million in total debt and having already amended its credit agreements twice this year to gain covenant relief, the company said that it might not be able to survive another year without significant improvement. The company attributed the trouble to a combination of factors: a post-pandemic drop in consumer demand for collectibles, increased competition in the toy and pop culture market, and supply chain pressures that squeeze margins. Funko's executives acknowledged that the pop culture collectible bubble may have burst and that the firm may rapidly adapt its business model to survive. They are now prioritizing cost-cutting, focusing on core licenses, and exploring strategic alternatives, though no specific turnaround plan was detailed yet. For stakeholders, retailers, licensors, and fans of Funko Funko Pop figures, the warning raises significant concern about the company's long-term viability. Analysts note that Funko's predicament could signal an end of an era for mass-market vinyl collectibles as a growth category, and licensors may rethink their relationships. Unless Funko executes a credible recovery plan quickly, the company's future may be more uncertain than many had assumed. Do you think this is an end of an era? Are Funko Pops officially done for? Let me know what you think about all of it down in the comments section. Despite the hype, generative AI tools are not the existential threat to writers they're often portrayed as. On his Substack, MS Olney argues that these tools can churn out text, visuals, and video, but they lack lived experience, emotional memory, and genuine voice. They generate content by pattern matching what already exists, not by living, feeling, or innovating in a human way. As such, the writing they produce often feels like echo chamber fluff rather than something truly meaningful. He elaborated that the real advantage for writers is not being replaced, but elevated. AI might eliminate parts of the sandbox, proofing, scaffolding, ideation, but it cannot create trust, human connection, or the inner spark that comes from lived experience. That means human authors who embrace AI as a tool, not a fallback, will win. They'll invite AI to support them, not supplant them. In effect, writers can relax because their essential creative value remains intact. Finally, Olney warns that the panic over AI has also masked some deeper industry truths. Low-quality content has always existed, and many so-called writing crises were really about business, marketing, and differentiation, not technology. The influx of generative tools may actually help sift the generic from the genuine. Rather than fight the machines, authors should focus on what machines can't mimic: voice, integrity, depth, and make that their competitive edge. I could not agree with this more. I think it is beautifully said, which is why I'm covering this article now, but I want to know what all of you think about it down in the comment section.